Hey, it's me, Troy, from Scare Hollow, and I'm in the backyard of Scare Hollow because I have, okay, not officially started the build because I started the wheels like, 2 months ago almost now. I did the wheels and I cut out using some of the wood that I farted. I totally farted on YouTube. I don't think you heard it, but if you did, you have good ears. Anyways. So I did the wheels already. I haven't painted them. I haven't done anything with them yet. I'm thinking about doing. They're gonna look rusty, so I'm gonna be experimenting with the different types of rust techniques that everybody does. I think I'm gonna go with Steve-O's restore thing using the restore paint from Home Depot. He uses that on some wood and it makes it look pretty awesome pretty quick. There's also using some iron shavings in I guess the paint, I don't know. I talk to people, but I have a guy who works at an iron making shop, and my wife works with people who, at their work, they shave iron and metal shavings and all kinds of stuff all the time. So I could get that stuff by the truckload if I wanted to. So I think I might go that route first, the metal shavings route. So I started the wheels already. So those are already cut. I just need to do the rusting. And then, of course, once I get the pipe, which I'm going to get conduit pipe for the wheels, for this year anyways, for the axles, because next year I will make it mobile, so I can actually move it and actually pull it. But for now, it's just going to be the conduit pipe. It's going to be 1.25 or, probably inch and a quarter conduit. It's like $10 a pipe for 10 foot. I only need 5 feet on each side. I got one piece of pipe for $10, easy. So I'm going to get that later on this week or maybe next week, and get all the wood for the sides, unless I already have it behind this shed back behind me. So I have now officially moved into the build area where I'm going to build this thing, because I don't want anybody other than the 2 neighbors that can see me on either side. But that's kind of why I have the Easy Up over me. Of course, it's my it's my super good quality Easy Up. Yeah. I think over here I got stars. They got little star holes. I think that's from the different fires we've had anyways. So this is my knot. Anyways, so there's my backyard. This is the rear of Scare Hollow. There's my there's that lamppost that I got a year ago. We made it work with amber lights. It's super cool. I change it for each season and everything. So we got this, anyways, got the kids' pool out, and that's where I watch movies at night, and blah blah. Anyways, so back to the other stuff. So this is the base of the box on the hearse. We've been spotted. Anyways, so yeah, so we're back at the base. What I've done is, at my work, we had these. It's a little better. You can see them a little better right there. So we had these stands. So this was actually originally was facing up like this. Okay. And then inside that top piece was one of those. And so you can get kind of an idea, hopefully. So it is a square tube frame with a little piece on the bottom that fit into that pipe. Sorry, there was an airplane. I edited that part out because it's super annoying. That's the only problem about being out here and vlogging, is you get the airplanes. So, but what I did was, this pipe is the same inner diameter or inner squared as these, so it still fits that, which is cool. So I flipped it on its side. I cut it. This one I left the right length. The other ones I cut to fit the area. So this is a 4 foot wide by 5 foot 6 inch board. I just had it. I wasn't going to go along and make a 6 foot board if I had this one already done, and it was lighter weight. I didn't want to use. See, now I got another airplane. That's a little puddle jumper. I'm surrounded by 2 different airports. I have one that way and one that way, and that one is the big airport, and that one's the little one for helicopters and little planes, and that was for the big planes. Anyways, so what I'm going to do is I centered them on the board, 33 inches. Boom. Right? 33 inches? Well, you can't see it because it's in the shadow, which means it's perfect. Anyways, so this is centered 33 inches. because it's 66 inches long, so 33 inches. And then what I did was I actually indented it a little bit, because this is actually, you can see it right there, it's actually indented. So this part will actually be facing into the hearse, and this will be the flat side, and this is where the wood for the exterior of the hearse will be on, right here. So it'll be a flat surface for the piece of wood to go on, which is super smart on my part. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of 2x2 right here, going the length of this. So then when I put the frame in here, and look, it already has holes for bolts. Look at that, holes for bolts. So put the bolt in there, and then I'll put the piece of wood will slide over the top of it. So you will not see any of this, because the wood will come right to here, and then I'm going to probably put some bolt holes. See, there's another one right here too. So I can actually use this as an anchor for the wood as well. I'll drill through that, through the 2x2, and then through the piece of plywood or whatever I end up using, and mount it to that, and mount it to that one, and then I'll put it at the end of each one. So this 2x2 will act as like an L bracket, basically, to hold this piece to the underside. And the main reason I want to do that, this, I'll screw in the 2x2 to this, but this one will be bolted in, because I want to be able to remove it. And that should have take apart the need for any, because I was trying to think, when I have this connect to each piece, when that one needs to connect to this one, I was trying to figure out, okay, what if I use some kind of like a turnbuckle idea or something like that, where you'd have a little clasp on one side, and then you have a thing where you pull, and then you pull it back, and it cinches them together. I know what those are in my mind. I just don't know what the name of them are. But I was thinking about that, like one here and one here, and then that would shore up the sides instead of putting some kind of an L bracket in there. Because I don't want to do like an L bracket idea, because of I don't want to use any screws on the interior of it, because each one of these 4 panels will lift off. And therefore now I have 4 individual panels. I have a base, I have a top, and then I have the front box, which makes it so I can completely collapse this thing, and I'll be able to take the wheels out and everything. They'll have a hub on them and everything that I can undo. So I can completely disassemble this hearse and store it in that shed that you can't see behind me anymore because it's dark now. So I'll be able to store this hearse in my backyard. Granted, this was in the idea that I wasn't going to be moving anytime soon, and now that I'm probably going to be buying a house very soon, before next Halloween, that I would need to be able to store this thing. I still want to be able to store it, because I'd rather not have this thing up all year, because then I can store it and it wouldn't be hit with the weather. I wouldn't have to go out and repaint it every year, things like that. So yeah, it'd be cool to leave up every year, and if I did leave it up, I would do a lot more coating on the outside, a lot more sealing. But for time and money, I don't really want to do that this year, because I'm only going to have it out for the month of October. So any kind of exterior paint that I use will last that October, and then if I want to go back and clear coat it later on and stuff like that, I can have my wife take it to her work and they can blast it with clear coat and all kinds of stuff. So we've got a lot of ideas of how we're going to finish it off. That part, we're going to wing this whole thing from start to finish. This is all, nobody's ever done a hearse with the metal, with the metal framing and everything. No, nobody's made a portable hearse, basically, that you can fold up and take with you wherever you want to go. So, I know like Jen Hahn Smith, she has to leave hers in her garage. She has to store it. I know a couple of people on Instructables have to just store theirs. It takes up a space, and it can be as big as a car. I mean, if you think about it, this has wheels and a front and the back and everything. So if you have a 2-car garage, you have a car and a hearse garage, which would be super awesome. Actually, it'd be better if you had a hearse and a hearse garage. So yeah. So the idea now is that I'm going to, it's 10 o'clock at night, so I probably won't be able to do too much of this, or maybe none at all, but I'm going to put, a bolt there, and 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 then same with all these. These will have less bolts because they're not as long, but that one's going to have, so I'm gonna end up using 19 bolts in this to be able to do this with lock nuts and washers and all that kind of stuff. So they will go underneath. So the one thing that I was worried about was, I was like, okay, how am I going to worry about the back door? And there's either 2 options. The back door, this I may actually cut down I may cut this down because it's actually, well, you can't really see it, but it's a good 2 feet tall. So if I were to cut it down, then if I brought it down to here, my idea is that I'm going to put another piece of wood over the top of this so that you wouldn't see any of this, and it would just sandwich all this in. Sorry, I heard somebody. I heard something. Shh. I'll tell you a story in a second about a creepy thing that happened to me last night. Okay. It was just my gate. I should go close it. But anyways, I'll tell you the really creepy story in a minute. So, my idea is I'm going to cut that down so that it's lower, so that if I did want to put something in there, I just have to lift it up over that edge. I could deal with that because I can still put that in there. I just have to make that the frame will be lower and the wood will go higher above it. The wood's going to be wider, obviously wider than that. The wood's going to be 5'6", and the frames are only 3 foot, 4 foot, I think, something like that. So the fronts won't be too much of an overlap, but the sides will have, where like this, like from here to here, will have no metal on it at all. And that will help with, I'll probably put on the inside of the front and the back, I'll probably put a 2x2 going down there, so I can use some bolts in there too. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of socket wrenching and bolting and stuff like that to get it all undone. But I think it'll make it functional. But so I'll put the piece of wood over the top of this, so then I have a flat surface to put stuff in, to put the coffin in, whatever, lights and curtain materials. So it's going to be very cool. I'm very excited about it. Now that I even have it back here, I'm like super psyched to get this done. And so July 4th is a little ambitious, but I still want to kind of stick to it because I have 4 days off for July 4th, and I think we're only leaving town for one of the days. I don't know for sure yet. We have a parks pass, like an Oregon State Parks pass, and we have a Northwest Forest pass, so we need to use it. We need to go, it gets us into the day use areas for free anywhere in the state, anywhere in the Northwest. So we want to just go. There's several places on the beach that we have to pay to park at that we wouldn't have to. There's places in the mountains. It just kind of depends on what we want to do. We've got some friends here that might want to go do something. Who knows? So for the 4th of July, we're busy like almost all day. We do a big fireworks display, which of course I'll vlog again like we did last year, and we do a big party and a barbecue that day and stuff like that, as most of us do. And so then, but I think if I can figure this out, I may be able to just stay here, like work all of this, because I have the 2nd off. So I'm probably gonna take the kids to daycare so I can work on this all day long. Hopefully be able to finishing touches. So we'll see. My time frame of doing things with Halloween, as we all know, and we all have the same problem with, we say we want to get it done in a month. I don't think I can build this in a month with all the detail we want to do to it, but I bet we could get the majority of it done to where all we're doing is detail work, lighting, curtains, maybe some cool edge stuff and some top, some pieces of the top. But I think a lot of it's going to be able to be done. I mean, I'm going to be gone like almost every weekend in June, so that's going to be a little tough, but I have every night. It's going to be super nice out. It's going to be like 80 degrees for the next 2 weeks straight. So I've got plenty of time to do stuff that if I can cut the wood during the day after I get back from work, then I can come out here and screw it in and do stuff a little bit louder out here because it's a little further away from the house. I won't have to worry about the kids being woken up. There's nobody behind me that has kids. They're like never home, and the other ones, their kids are in the front, so it's not really a big deal. So I don't make a lot of noise anyways, just a screw gun if I was doing it. So but I think it would be super cool to get it done by July 4th. That's my goal, but don't hold me to it. If you hold me to it, I'm going to come through this little screen and I'm going to get you. So anyways, we're at 11 minutes, so I want to tell this super fun story. So last night, minus the airplane, last night I was sitting over there, which you couldn't see because it was dark, where I watched movies, and I have a little projector. I have a projector, and I put it on the swing set there, and I have a projector screen that comes down from the swing set. Super cool. And so I'm sitting there watching Game of Thrones and like totally egging on Daenerys Targaryen. I'm not going to give anything away because I know not everybody's seen it. Anyway, so it's super awesome episode. So I'm sitting there watching it last night, and I turn off all the lights in the backyard so that I have nothing but the projector screen. So I'm sitting there and I'm eating popcorn, I'm drinking Mountain Dew and watching the show. So the only light is the projector. I hear this rustling over by my my gate, which is on the right side of me if I'm sitting in where the projector is. So on my right side, I hear like rustling. We have pine cones everywhere in this yard because we have pine trees on both sides of the house. So there's pine cones everywhere, and the kids throw them around and everything. So I heard somebody like crunch on them, and it's a very distinctive crunch. Everybody knows what a pine cone crunch sounds like. So I looked over, and of course I paused the movie, and I'm like, oh, I'm like back here alone. And so I was like, okay, I could run inside, or I could pick up nothing next to me. And I'm like, I had like a hose. I could have sprayed them with water. I'm you're wet now. And so I've actually had friends come over before, and they've known I've been back there, and they've come back through that gate, and they try and scared the fuck out of me. Anyways, so I'm looking over there. I'm like, I don't hear anything. So then I turned on my cell phone flashlight, and just for some reason, I turned it to the left, and not even 10 feet from me are 2 raccoons just sitting there eyeballing me, and they didn't make a sound. They were so quiet. So either a third one made a diversion over there like freaking velociraptors, or they just that made noise, and whatever it was over there was a cat or whatever, and they were over here. But they were, I mean, had I not turned on that light, they would have been on me, and they'd been eating me, and I would have been dead. True story. So that is your scary story for the night. It's not really scary. And it was actually kind of like one of those things where you would like scream, and then you like, oh wait, I'm a guy, I don't scream. And then like, I hope nobody heard me scream. No, I didn't scream. But yeah, then I went back to watching Daenerys Targaryen kick ass. That dragon was awesome. Anyways, so and one more thing. Because you saw in the vlog where Troy lit his fire with the propane torch. Well, I didn't want to spend. I'm gonna take mine camping. So I didn't want to get his. Was a one-piece metal pipe. Well, I'm taking mine camping, so I needed it to be smaller and 2-piece. So I went and got with the little. Yeah, this is how haunters light fires. Jason Becker. Team Melissa. Team Dead Zone. You're on fire. Yeah. Okay, so Scare Hollow